Has anyone seen Koila? I don't know why, but that was the movie that inspired me. I know it's not one that is one of the classics of Bollywood, but I don't know why I was in tears when I watched the film, and I just felt so bad for how he was being treated, and he's this mute man. Anyway, so it just really consumed my life, and I thought, I was stuck in that bubble for a really long time where I just did not want to move on in life, and I wanted to live in that world, and so one thought led to another, and I was like, it's the movies that really make me happy. Like, I don't want to move on in time. I want to just live that life all the time. And I don't know why I didn't think director or cameraman or whatever. I just thought actor, and that kind of like struck something in my head, and ever since it's been what I've wanted to do. And I was too shy at the time to tell anybody that I wanted to be an actor. I was still in school, and so I created my own acting school. Unlike all of you who are fortunate enough to come to a school, I had my own acting school at home, where I sat in front of a mirror for hours, and my dad thought I was extremely narcissistic. And I would watch these scenes from all of these movies that I liked, and would recreate it in front of the mirror. Like, I would memorize the dialogues and do it the way the actress did it, and then in my own way. I'd watch actor interviews to see what their method was, what their learnings were, various things like that was indirect teaching to me, and use those tips and techniques to build on myself. Because there was one thing that everyone said, that don't ever try imitating an actor, because the original's already there. So try and be your own unique self. So I would do it the way the actor did it, so that I knew whether I could do it to their level, which of course I didn't at that age, or now, but I tried to do it their way, and then I tried to do it my own way. So I did that for years, and then that kind of just helps you understand your face, understand emotions. Then it also makes you aware of every experience that you're living. You kind of cataloging that emotion in your head to use whenever. So anyways, that was how I started off, just watching a movie and realizing that that's the world I wanted to be in. Well, what I've noticed is that there's really nobody knows what works and what doesn't. There are people who audition and audition and audition and audition, and they will still not get anything 3-4 years down the line. But they're still auditioning, they're still hopeful, and then maybe 7-8 years later they suddenly have enough experience or understanding, or they've worked on themselves enough to start getting web shows, or other interesting roles in movies or whatever, or even television. There are some people who go for their first audition and crack it immediately, and so there's really no way of saying who likes what and who has what. And especially the ad world, it's so picky. They like the way your hairstyle looks one day, and that's why they'll choose you. A lot of the times I got picked initially because of my curly hair. So if they had 3 girls, 2 with straight, 1 looks different with curly hair, so they cast me. And along the way you gain experience, and then you become a recognizable face, and so they cast you for your acting, or for your whatever, face value or whatever. But initially it's just a look, which is quite crazy. Someone's worn a top that the director had imagined, and so they're like, this is what I imagined, cast them. It's really bizarre. So I would just say, all of us are trying to figure it out, and it would just be, back yourself, believe in yourself, try and get as much experience living life, because that itself is what makes each one of us unique, and, would bring that element of difference to whatever audition you give, which might or might not work. But I feel like the main thing would always be to be as real as possible in judging yourself. it's very good to back yourself and to know your strengths, but it's also very important to be open to criticism, and to know what to work on, to not be prejudiced about yourself or to be biased about yourself. It's very important to be open to learning and improvement, because no matter where you are, no matter how much you've done, there's always more you can learn, obviously. And so I think I think it's very integral to have an open mind, even if you do something well, to be able to just see what you did well, and how to work on that and build that, and what you did crappily, so that you can reduce the things that are working against you. So yeah, it's a mixture of all of these things that get you through stuff, because really it's when you're doing stuff well, there's very little to learn, because it's all going well. It's only when you don't get something, or you have a bad day, that you actually sit and spend time on what went wrong and why it went wrong, and that's when it opens up the discussion of what they thought and what you thought and what the circumstances were, and that's really when you can start improving yourself. So it's very important, in my opinion, to have failure.
Right.
Live. Basically, like I said, it's a whole bunch of experiences that can make you a better actor. So I'm just open to all kinds of experiences, be it like the most horrendous experience, something that's painful, something that's fun, something that's experimentative. Like, the most ridiculous things can always just help you. So crucially, what I do is trade in the stock market, because that keeps you up to date with what's happening in world politics, what's happening in the economy around the world. China wakes up with some problem and your stock market's affected, and so that just keeps you in touch with everything that's going on in the world. I also train. I do I gym, weight training, so that I can look healthier. Otherwise, I'm very thin. I do yoga and kickboxing. So it's a lot of like strength, training that I do, and also I have to work on my accent, because I test for a lot of stuff abroad, and so that's something that's ongoing. And anything else, if I my own private school continues, where if I watch an interesting performance, I still try and like run that through in my head, or each time I have an audition, that takes 2-3 days of prep. So it's a mix of activities. And then again, like I said, just go out, do things, meet people, meet anyone, talk to a rickshaw driver, get his perspective on things, watch him, observe him. Because as actors, you can be given any sort of script with any sort of situation. You have to act like a dog, you have to act possessed, you have to act like a man, you have to act like a child. Any ridiculous experience can be given to you, and so it's just always observing, clocking things, mentally making notes of everything, because you don't know when what will help. Something will help in a funny line you're saying in a perfectly normal role. One, I think, just to be as real as possible. How would you meet a person on the street? How would you treat your friend? How would you meet a friend of a friend? A friend is introducing you to another friend. How do you react to them? You try and make conversation, you try and find out about their life, about their past, what their likes and dislikes are, what work they've done. You've already read up on that. You just try and make a conversation. You just try and connect with the things that are similar. The things that are dissimilar, you open your mind up to and ask questions about it, so that you yourself are learning something, and plus that makes it a special connection with that person. So it's just human skills that are required in terms of building a chemistry with an actor. It's always about communication. As honest as you can be, as genuine as you can be, is the most helpful, because the moment you try and bring in pretensions, the moment you try and bring any sort of wall, any sort of guard, any sort of coolness to it, it automatically brings a disconnect, because no one really knows what you're thinking or feeling. So I would just say be as authentic as possible, because that person will sense your energy and will want to protect you. People want to be nice to you. People want to look after you. So if you allow yourself to be real and genuine, they will have your back. I will say that initially, if it's not going to harm you, I would say do it. Because there's another thing called work experience. Like when I came in, I was like, I've been training in front of the mirror for 5-6 years. I'm genius. And then I started auditioning, and you you understand that you have to learn about camera angles, you have to learn about lighting, you have to learn about choreography in a scene. You have to enter, you have to take 3 steps, you have to wipe the mirror till here, and then you have to smile like this. All of these things that at the time can just become really big in your head, because you have a camera this close, which sometimes can be a little unnerving, and you might have wiped it till here and then turned only this much, and then they'll want to do like 20 more takes because you have to turn the mirror till here and turn this much. So all of these things can really build up, and you're like, but I thought I did it, all of that. So until you've gotten over the nervousness, until you've understood yourself, your strengths, your weaknesses, I would say build experience. I think the industry luckily is in a very good stage right now where they don't judge you for where you've come from. There was a time when they would say, if you've done television, you can never do movies. If you've done movies, you should never do television. If you've done movies, you should never do web series. And all of that's being turned on its head right now with Netflix and Amazon and Hulu and Apple TV and all of that, where everyone's doing everything. If you're a movie actor, you never did theatre. Mr. Kher is shining in theatre, and so a lot of your British actors. So there is no pattern. So I would say work experience is most important. If you like what you've read and you don't think it's brilliant, but it won't harm you, it's not a harmful thing to do. If you think it could bring you flack, if you think 5 years hence you will look back and regret having done that, you will regret having it on your filmography, then don't do it. Because then not only are you doing injustice to yourself, you're also doing injustice to the role and to the production, because someone else could be doing it with a little bit more heart and enjoying it, and you're stopping that experience. But if you think you can contribute something, if you think you can learn something and it's not going to harm you in any way, I would say do it, because if anything, it'll give you experience. Even if it's a bad experience, it'll help you in a good way. It'll help you understand stuff about yourself, about other people, about what you like doing, what you don't like doing. At least it'll give you more understanding. And so, I think no one judges anymore for what you've done in the past, so long as you're doing work. Earlier there would be like, you have to only do good work, and if you have like 2-3 flops, it was a really bad thing. Now it's like, if you're doing good work consistently, at some point you're going to do something really amazing and that'll blow up. So it's and when I started off, I really hated that, because I was like, you can't control a success or a failure, and so why can't I do something in the hope that it becomes something good, and then it was held against me if it was bad. That doesn't seem to be happening anymore. So that fear at least is out.
It's my first experience ever interacting with actors, and so it was a little something I was unprepared for. But it was such a warm reception, and very quiet. I was really surprised by that. So it was nice. It was nice to just journey back and talk about the entire experience. They were very receptive about it, very sensitive about it. And so yeah, it was just nice to just put myself up there and talk about everything again. Just keep working on yourself, keep growing, keep learning, keep doing new things. Just so that you understand yourself, just so that you are able to have a wealth of experience or knowledge or understanding to be able to put into any character that you can perform or not. And to just be 100% authentic with your understanding of things, never to like over-prop yourself up, and never to like over-criticize yourself, but to be very like real about where you stand, so that you're able to like work on your strengths and weaknesses with equal measure.